What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Jacob in Wisconsin, here to talk some Packers. Yeah, Emilio, we thought was joining us. He'll be here in a minute, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he won't be here. He's usually not here on the weekends anyway. So, Jacob, how you doing tonight, bro?
I'm doing all right. I just picked up some Chinese food that I'll be enjoying right after the podcast here. So I got a great night planned, man.
We ate some kind of Asian earlier. I'm trying to think if they had pho on the front. That was like their big advertisement. But of course, I got some kind of like fried rice and steak, vegetables, and some pineapple in it. Man, it was good. It was really good. First good meal I've eaten in a couple of days since coming down with whatever I got here. But anyway, obviously we're live on YouTube, we're live on Rumble, live on X. Everybody go give a follow on all platforms. If you're listening on the pod, hop over to YouTube, sub to the channel. And if you are listening on YouTube and you're like, man, I listen to podcasts on the go, search Packernet Podcasts wherever you get your podcasts, where you can scan that QR code in the upper right. That'll send you to that same spot wherever you get your podcast. There's like multiple platforms that'll pop up there. You choose your favorite. It'll automatically have you signed in. You can go ahead and sub to the podcast in that way. So appreciate everybody supporting the show. Jacob, we got a lot to cover, man. We had breaking news earlier. Obviously, we got a big giveaway here in a little bit. We're going to be giving away an autographed Lucas Van Ness jersey, and anyone who is a member here on YouTube as of midnight last night. So don't jump on thinking you're going to enter the contest. Okay, you obviously if you join as a member here or on our Patreon group, patreon.com/PackerFan Total Access, that'll get you in the next giveaway. But tonight we're going to be giving away an autographed LVN jersey, pretty sweet green home jersey, just like this one right back here from Pristine Auctions. Now, the big news of the day, Jacob, I know it's the first thing you asked about when we got in here. Obviously, Deebo Samuel has been traded to the Washington Commanders per Ian Rappaport for a 5th-round pick. And there's a lot to really unpack here. As Andy Monday says, Commanders only had to give up a 5th. That's right. And, it's really weird with the contract. I've been trying to understand how his contract works. Anytime you see that option aspect, we've talked about that in the past, you don't really know how it's going to unfold. But I think it was Spot Track at Spot Track on their X account. Let me go ahead and drop this down. I'll pull up what he said, which was really, really interesting to me. So what he says here is San Francisco has agreed to trade wide receiver Deebo Samuel to Washington in exchange for a 2025 5th-round pick. The Commanders acquire 1 year, $17.5 million non-guaranteed. Okay, so evidently he's going to be a $17.5 million cap hit for the Commanders, and the 49ers absorb a $31 million cap hit. So they went in the hole big time to deal Deebo, but of course they're looking to free up future cap so they can re-sign Brock Purdy at quarterback. So I immediately went to Spot Track and trying to understand this contract. And according to Spot Track, what they're showing here is base salary $1.1 million. He's only had 1 year left on his deal, and he had 4 voidable years. That's how the Niners have been able to continue to sign these players over the years, as they're kicking the can down the road with cash over cap. Now, with that being said, his cap hit is $15.8 million, and there's a ton of proration when it comes to the bonuses and things. Okay, so it does show his dead cap of $31 million. So obviously that cap hit goes from 15.8 to 31. So they do go deeper into the hole to free up this money. Now I don't know if they're going to designate it for June 1st. I don't even know if you could do that. Seeing the trade sounds like it's all but complete. But when you look at, okay, if he's got a base salary of 1.1 and all guaranteed money would stay with San Fran, how are we coming up with this number of 17.5 million non-guaranteed, right? Well, there's an option proration of 4.9, 4.9, 3 million, and 3 million. If you add those up, then you're coming up with roughly 14 million. Tack on the base salary, and maybe it will come down to the roster bonus of $750K and probably the workout bonus of $200K. That's going to get you in that ballpark of 17.5. So again, Jacob, best I can come up with here, man, as far as the contract goes, is and I definitely trust Spot Track's Twitter account here and them saying that is going to be the cap hit for the. I say cap hit. Now they could tack on voidable years and spread that out too, right? But it sounds like it's one of two things: either that optional aspect of the contract kicked in, went to the Commanders, or they worked out some kind of adjustment on the deal before he got there. One of those two. The fact that it's non-guaranteed throws me off, because with the with the optional aspect, it's like that should be guaranteed, but maybe that's in the fine writing too, that if they want to move on, that is not guaranteed. If that makes sense. What's your thoughts on the trade in general, man? Who do you think got fleeced? I'll put a question up here, a poll question, and ask who got the better end of the Deebo Samuel trade, the 49ers, the Commanders, or it's bad for both? What do you think?
Initially, I'd probably think that San Fran got a better end of this deal. Debo has not been the greatest team guy lately. Definitely been a off-season kind of. I don't want to say he's a cancer, but he's definitely been not a great locker room guy. Not a great team guy. Taking media attention away from what's important over there in San Francisco. Shavink is in the chat here talking about how the Ayuk, Pearsall, and Jennings trio is going to go hard. I agree with that. If Ayuk sticks around, I did see some murmurs that he's also trying to get out of there as well. But maybe now that Debo's gone, who knows what's going on there. Personally, some people, oh, God, I wish we could have got him. I wouldn't want Deebo Samuel for 17.5 or honestly, anywhere around that.
Right.
If
you're wondering what Jacob's talking about, I mean, you can go to Twitter and see him grabbing his long snapper by the throat on the sideline there last year. It's like, people are going, man, I can't believe they got him for that little. And it's like, I'm looking at it a little bit different. 17 million for a dude who's obviously not a team player and kind of an asswipe, to be honest with you. But go ahead, Jake, let me cut you off.
No, that's perfectly said. It's just, I'm glad he's off San Fran because I don't want to have to deal with him. We obviously it's not in a division or anything like that, but it's stays in the NFC. I'm sure what's their new quarterback over there? I'm sure he's pumped. The young guy, but plus, I mean, that's a pretty crazy duo that they have now over there in Washington. I will still call them the Redskins. I still don't care. The Commanders. Remember that when they were the Washington football team? That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, that's an interesting concept. I try to stay away from it, but I do have somewhat personal ties to it. I feel like I got a little bit of a dog in that fight. The high school that I went to, we were called the Cumberland Redskins, and we took pride in that. Everything looked like FSU. Everything kind of mimicked Washington too. The tomahawk chop, all that stuff. We embraced when all this came along, and it just so happens I've got Native American in me, so I always thought that was awesome that our school was named after kind of my background. So evidently that was not the right way of thinking is what a certain group of people are telling me. So I appreciate them letting me know how I'm able to be proud of my heritage or not. That's kind of cool. But anyway, yeah, I agree with Drew here. Spot Track has the most accurate information. Many people, Drew, they like over the cap. I love how Spot Track's laid out. Maybe I'm just too lazy to learn a different system. I think I understand what he's trying to accomplish on his side. I went over the cap one day, and it kind of looked like I was going from an Xbox layout to an NES layout. And I'm like, I can't handle this. You know what I mean? Like we were going back 10 years or so, but I'm sure there's good things with that side as well. So again, I would love to get answers on how that hit ended up being 17.5. Maybe it's a simple answer as, hey, they agreed on a deal. Maybe that'll come out here pretty soon, or when the cap numbers actually drop on Washington's side, it's still showing the contract from the 49ers side, as obviously this is hot off the press with this trade. But in terms of who I think came out better here, I think I would vote both. And I hate putting that option in there because I like to make people choose. That way you can kind of really get a gauge of even if it's by 1%, who got the better of. But man, if I'm Washington, you're taking on Deebo Samuel and you got a guy who's been injury prone here lately. You got a guy who was used up pretty much like a running back early in his career and just got the hell beat out of him, right? That's why he's starting to, I think, show these injuries. He's getting a little bit older, right? How old is he now, Jacob? He's 30. He's going to be 30, or no, he's 29 this year. So, is it a 1-year rental for a 5th-round pick? It's not much draft compensation. And I guess with it being non-guaranteed, there's really no risk there for them unless he upsets the apple cart. You know what I mean?
I think Jake Shavink has a great comment here. He says the type of moves you can make with a rookie quarterback contract. If it doesn't work out, oh, well, it was a day 3 pick. I mean, yeah. I agree with that. Yeah.
Completely agree in terms of taking a shot on him for a 5th-round pick. It's just the contract that's kind of got me. Like if you use him all year long, I guess here's the worst case scenario for the Commanders for me. Let's say he stays healthy all year long, which is highly unlikely based off the recent history. But if he does stay healthy, and you get into week 14 or 15, and he's grading out at about a 70, and you're paying that dude $17.5 million on the year. I would much rather have rolled that cap into the next year, or possibly used it in free agency towards someone like a Chris Godwin or someone like that. Which, by the way, has anybody in the chat heard Chris Godwin? I haven't seen the news. He did not sign a franchise tag, right? They did not offer him the franchise tag as of today. You guys let me know in the chat if you've heard that, because it kind of feels like the later we get in that process, they may be leaning toward letting him test free agency. So, like Christine says, maybe they're reworking the Debo deal. Yeah, again, that's what I'm saying, Chris, is like I don't understand the 17.5. Even if they're going to rework it, if they had already reworked it, it makes sense. But the fact that hasn't been announced yet is what kind of catches me off.
Is it kind of weird too that like typically when this kind of deal or what trade happens, isn't it usually for a longer contract than a 1 year kind of prove it stint? Or am I just speaking out of my butt?
Yeah, it does kind of feel like a 1 year prove it, if that's what you're asking. But again, it's like a 1 year prove it. Okay, he played well. Let's bring him back at 30 years old. That doesn't, you know what I mean? That doesn't really make sense. That's why I wouldn't have been interested in acquiring him. But I know Debo has definitely got a chip on his shoulder, and he wants to prove to San Fran, hey, this is your fault, and I'm going to show you how good I am. Sets up for a hell of a storyline if San Fran does bounce back next year and somehow they meet the Commanders in the playoffs or something, and Debo get that revenge game. That would be fun. Of course, look for the schedule to release. I don't know if they actually play. I don't know if the NFC East plays the NFC West this year or not, or how that'll work. I guess it would have to – we'd have to see how the rotation happens, but that'd be a cool little revenge game because, they'd be – that long snapper might be looking to take a cheap shot on him somehow. You know what I mean? But anyway, there you go. There's the news of the day with the Debo Samuel trade. Now let's kind of pick up where we left off this morning, Jacob, and then we will go to some Patreon questions and do our giveaway this evening. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us, man. We got a herd of people in there. If you would hit that like button for us. If you're watching on X and you want to be able to comment a little bit easier, a little bit better format, hop over to YouTube or Rumble and subscribe to the channel. It's a lot easier to chat in those two formats. But if you want to hang out on X, that's totally cool too. Just to let you know, we are on YouTube as well. If you click on my profile, you should see the link to our YouTube channel in there. So if not, just go, type in Packer Fan Total Access over on YouTube or Rumble. So where we left off let me ask you this, Jacob. I know you've been watching the Combine. You might have something at the forefront of your mind. Is there anything you want to hit before we kind of pick up where we left off this morning? Anything that sticks out to you?
I mean, there was some just interesting measurements and stuff that I didn't expect. Like my boy Scattaboo, or what's his name, Scatabo. He had like I think he had like a 39-inch vert with that dude. Just that little muscle hamster can jump out of the frickin' and jump out of the stadium, which is pretty cool. A couple receivers really ran very, very fast. I think the fastest running back was a guy I hadn't even heard of, but that was cool. They show that, break action of him compared to, I think it was Saquon Barkley and one other up and coming running back. And he was a good 2 paces ahead of both of them. So it was cool.
Yeah, it was fun. It was really enjoyable watching the Combine earlier today. Just kind of taking it all in, that stuff to me. It's exciting. I'm a nerd like that though. I love having it on the background, working on the draft board as the details come in, and there were some movers and shakers, and we got to be careful because the RASs aren't complete. And I told Emilio, hey, be careful putting information in because it's going to change. And I found myself today going, hell with it. I'm putting some information. I want to see how this shakes the board up as it sits right now. So, all right. So let's go back to some of the positions that have already been completed at the Combine. And I love what NFL.com has done here. And I know Drew D probably in the chat. I think I seen him earlier. He had messaged me the other day, like, have you seen this setup on NFL.com with the Combine coverage? It's really cool, guys. If you get a chance, go check it out for sure. As Prince is hashtag and pray for Emilio. He's still in the bathroom. Full disclosure, that was Jacob that topped that in the chat.
I don't think that's true.
And Emilio isn't even supposed to be on the show tonight, so he's really not stuck. Go ahead and clear up that fake news here before we get flagged by YouTube.
We should have just not said anything and then had him like the whole episode. Where the hell is Emilio? Poor guy.
Exactly. All right. So again, like I said, shout out to Drew D. I know he recognized this stuff as well. So according to NFL.com and Next Gen Stats, here are your top linebackers after the Combine. I want to explain what we're looking at here. And Drew D, you chime in the chat if I'm misexplaining something here. So you've got an overall draft score right here in this column, and that's broken down with an average between the athleticism score and the production score. The production score is kind of how they played in college, and the athleticism score is from their combine workout. Okay, so this isn't everything, just like PFF, just like our draft board, just like the RAS. More information is better than less. But according to NFL.com, here's what we got. Jihad Campbell has a draft score of 82. He leads the way amongst linebackers. Carson Schweisinger out of UCLA has an 81. Jalen Walker out of Georgia, which some people believe he is an edge defender and not a backer. They've got him, not a stack backer, I should say. They got him as an 80. Then it drops down a little bit to Smile Munden Jr. With a 74. Danny Stutzman with a 74. Nick Martin with a 74. Demetrius Knight Jr. with a 74. And then you start to get into the 73 and 72s, which Chris Paul Jr., a player that the Packers have met with, obviously, he is sitting there at a 72. He comes in 10th spot, according to NFL.com, in their draft score rankings as it sits right now. I'm going to sort my board about linebacker. Jacob, I want to get your take on these real quick.
Hold on. I got it. This is a great pun. Andy Monday says Emilio's competing at the Senior Bowl.
Right, that's beautiful. Well done, sir. Well done. So, yeah, in terms of how our rankings match up with this, Jihad Campbell is our top linebacker, hands down. It's not even close. He's number one, and the Packers have met with him. Number two is Carson Schweisinger, which is this matches. That's number two as well. The Packers have not met with him. Third, we've got Demetrius Knight Jr. They've got Jalen Walker, but keep in mind, we've got Jalen Walker as an edge, so he would probably be in this spot as a stack backer if we had him like that. Then they've got Smile Munden Jr. next. We've actually got Danny Stutzman next. Then they got Danny Stutzman next. And if we were to try to find Smile Munden Jr. here, and someone had told me that's how you pronounce his name, I could be getting joked on there. We've got Smile Munden way down, guys. Now, the Packers did meet with him. We've got him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, roughly 15th or 16th best linebacker. The Packers are definitely interested in. Of course, I mentioned Chris Paul Jr. the Packers met with as well. So, what do you got there, Jacob? Anything at all, man, on any of that linebacker info?
Yeah, I'm most partial to linebackers. That was what I played in high school. What I always wanted to, my favorite players of all time are linebackers. I really like Chris Paul Jr. I was a little disappointed he graded a little bit lower than I hoped he would. I really like Demetrius Knight Jr. as well. I think I saw, Coach Lynn said the same thing. I haven't honestly looked at Jihad Campbell or Carson Schweisinger the way that I should, because it's just one of those things where if I think it's not realistic they're going to fall to us, or that we'd make us strike for them. I'm a little gun shy on Georgia linebackers. I can't lie. But what do you think about Jihad Campbell? Because the only thing I've seen about negatives is that he's a little undersized. Is that maybe his biggest knock? Or
I don't know, man. I mean, Jihad Campbell, to me, he's hands down the best backer. Unless he's under 6'1", it's hard for me to say a backer's.
I know. They got him at 6'3", 244 at PFF. Right.
Like he's stout, man. And he does have the maximum RAS bonus as it sits right now with a 5-point bonus. So his final grade ends up being a 25.3. So again, we've got him as the top backer. I'd have to resort. I guess I could go ahead and resort. Let me sort by overall on my board here and give you kind of an idea of where we exactly have him. And I'll tell you where Daniel Jeremiah has him. So we've got Jihad Campbell in the 22 spot. So the Packers, they drafted him at 23. I'd have no problem with that. That tells me they've got him higher than 23 if they do. And the fact that that's where he checks out on our board. Daniel Jeremiah has him in the 13 spot. So, creeping up on the top 10 spot. And the way that Daniel Jeremiah's grades are in here, guys, or rankings are in here, whatever rankings he had on his top 50 the first time, that stays in. And then as he updates that, we'll put the new number in for the people who don't have a grade. That way you've always got the earliest number that guys had before the hype train started. That makes sense. So, Jihad Campbell is, to me, he looks like a stud. Now, anybody can be a bust. We learned that time and time again with the draft. So, and I apologize for the voice, guys. It's got to be horrible listening to this. It's rough, let me tell you. I was feeling better earlier, and then right before we go live, I'm like, there goes the voice again. It's gone again. So, I was in here trying to tune it up too, you know what I mean? The
do a little Andy Bernard. Here comes treble. Just gotta.
Here comes treble. That's right. All right. Anything else with the linebackers, Jacob, before we move along, man?
Nah,
Good.
one thing I guess I'd ask is, what do you think about Barrett Carter? Because he
Barrett
was one of those guys, Clemson guy. When you look at his PFF scores, his best year was his first year, and then he's slowly. So in 2022, he played over 800 snaps, had an 81.4 grade. 2023, he had 642 snaps, but then regressed to a 70.6. Finally, this last year, he plays over 800 snaps, and he regressed to a 68. It's kind of the opposite of what you want to see, but you know.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. No, I've got Barrett Carter out of Clemson in the 160 spot. So it's really interesting too. We've got him at 160. Daniel Jeremiah did not have him in his top 50. Dane Brugler did not have him in his top 100, but the 33rd team had him at 61. So that's something that definitely helped him on our board. And like you said, the PFF grades have pulled him down a little bit, and he has gotten, according to PFF, he's gotten worse every year. That is a bit of a red flag for me for sure.
Yeah.
Andy Monday says, so what round are we talking for linebacker? Depends on how the board falls for me, Andy. You guys know how I feel about this. I've got cluster busters. My cluster busters are real simple. Positions of importance, of value. So like if you've got 3 players in the top current tier of talent, and you go, okay, what's my cluster buster? All right, which one is a tier 1 position? If there's one that's a tackle, one that's a D tackle, one that's a linebacker, then I would now move my focus to the left tackle and the D tackle because those are both tier 1. And if they've got the same grade, the same exact grade, then I would probably maybe go like off age or size threshold, something like that, and just kind of trickle it down. But yeah, what I mean by that is if we pick at 23, now statistically speaking, I don't think this is even possible, but let's just pretend that Jihad Campbell is hands down the best player on the board and he's in his own tier. I would take him. That would be me. So I always trust the board. And I know that sounds boring, but that's kind of how I look at it, man. It's the same thing with wide receivers, the same thing but again, those cluster busters, if it's a green position like we show on our board all the time, meaning it's a tier 1 position, they get top priority. I don't even care if we're loaded at that position either. I mean, The Eagles now, there's rumors. I don't know if there's anything to them, but there's rumors that the Eagles may go after Myles Garrett. And people are going, they don't need Myles Garrett. That's how you build. Hey, that's how you build a damn football team. And, I get scolded by the 23-year-olds that tell me we need a wide receiver. And I'm going, all right, boys, keep convincing yourself that. And then when you get your ass kicked in the playoffs again, you'll be over here screaming fire LaFleur like it's his fault.
Yeah.
Got to build the trenches, man. Got to. So, be too deep.
Real quick, we all are sitting here talking about we got to draft a linebacker, which I agree with. But Coach Lindbergh is up a good point. He's like, man, we haven't even seen what Hopper can do. And, Hopper, like Chris N says, that was the Rasul pick. I know Tim wants Hopper to do well. I know that I want him to do well.
Absolutely.
We haven't seen, I was shocked at how little we did see in the small spurts that I saw. I kind of liked what I saw. So that'd be cool. If he actually came around and all of a sudden was another stud from that draft, that'd be really cool. Real quick, Deadfish was asking about Teddy Buchanan. I really like him. I believe he's a UCLA guy. Where do you have him on the board there, Clayton?
Yeah, Teddy Buchanan. I'm with you. We've got him a little lower than most, so it just depends on where he falls to, or where we could possibly take him. We've got him at 201 right now, but the thing that pulls him down is he was not mentioned in Daniel Jeremiah's top 50, the 33rd team's top 150 or 125, I think is what it went to, or Dane Brugler's top 100. Now his RAS, obviously, he got the maximum RAS. He looked very, very athletic. So the only thing that's left to grade off of for us is PFF grades. He was 40th, 34th, and fell all the way to 120th, right? And then the PFF big board had him at 217 at the end of the college year. The consensus big board had him at 325. So it's like you got to sit back and ask yourself, why did he all of a sudden raise if people were really high on him, right? So that's what I mean by our board is very, very safe in that regard. The people that make the top of our board, they've done it for a significant amount of time, and they kind of check all the boxes. Doesn't mean Teddy Buchanan isn't worthy of a day 2 pick. It doesn't mean that at all. It's just that's how our board checks out.
Sure. I'm surprised by that because he's Buchanan. He's graded incredibly well. 2022, 82.6. 2023, 82.9. This last year regressed a little bit to 77.5.
Right.
And he looks like he fits the part, man.
Yeah. So what we would do in that scenario, Jake, is we take the two best grades. So we're actually accounting for the 2022 grade and the 2023 grade. Okay. His best years. So we're just not even looking in terms of our overall average. We're not even looking at the 2024 grade, but the thing that's bringing him down, like I said, is the PFF big board and the consensus big board. That's the main thing. If we remove those two, then Teddy Buchanan would be probably a top 50 pick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I have to be admonished. I said UCLA. He's from Cal. Sorry, Dead Fish. Sorry.
Is it Cal? I was thinking it was UCL too. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it is Cal. Yep. All right. So imagine that Teddy played for the Bears. Yeah. Teddy's a track guy, moved well also for sure. Yeah, he looked like he scorched the combine. So looking really, really good in that regard for sure. So, all right, moving along here. We already hit that last night. We're all caught up there. So just some news. Actually, Daniel Jeremiah put out his top 50 NFL draft prospect rankings 2.0. We may hit that here in a minute if we need content. I think we'll be all right. So some other stuff to hit on here. Did you see Matthew Golden run that 40-yard dash earlier today?
I did not, but I did see an article where they said that if we don't get DK Metcalf, that Matthew Golden is the DK Metcalf of this draft.
Mm-hmm.
Thought that was a little interesting.
Yeah, so you guys remember Isaiah Bond obviously going to the combine. He said he was going to break the 40-yard dash record. I think he finished at a 4.4, right? And while Matthew Golden just kept his damn mouth shut, he ran out to run a 4.3 flat. And this is a 5'11 receiver, slot receiver, if I remember correctly. It's where he got the majority of his snaps. Do you have PFF pulled up, Jacob, by chance?
Yeah, I can. Yep.
Yeah. If you'll just hit on wide receiver, sort it by that on their draft board, and tell if you could see where he lined up, because I need to add this information in. I was thinking he was a slot receiver. We just got him listed as a receiver, and it doesn't mean he can't play all over the place, but I like to update the board and just kind of show where they played at, if that makes sense. So if you could tell me where the snaps were.
Yeah, so in 2024, he had the predominant amount of his snaps was out wide, 376 out wide. He had a 118 in the slot. The year before, he was at 175 wide, 92 slot. Year before that, 351 wide, 16 slot. So he is more of that outside type receiver. Graded as a 74 this last year. Again, six. They got him at 6 flat, 195, 21 and a half years old.
Yeah, and the Packers did meet with Matthew Golden, okay? And is he 5'11"? Am I thinking right?
Yeah, they got him. PFF has him at 6 foot, but I think 5'11" is probably more accurate.
Yeah, so that could be one of those dudes, man. Could be one of those dudes that it's on the. Obviously, he's on the Packers' radar now. He's sitting in the 37 spot for us, and how he got there. The thing that's dragging him down is his PFF grades: 496, 376, 160. The PFF big board somehow, some way had him 22nd. The consensus big board had him 46th. Daniel Jeremiah has him 24th on his original top 50. He was 24th. 33rd team had him 29th. Dane Brugler had him 27th. So once his RAS is in, that's without the RAS bonus. I wonder if that's finalized yet. The wide receivers are still working drills, so we'll hold off. I imagine he's going to get the 5-point bonus. And when he does.
Matthew Golden actually cracked his official was 4.29.
Was it really? Wow. That's awesome. So yeah, he'll, with the 5-point bonus, he'll jump a tier. He's going to be in the 32 spot most likely by the time we put that bonus in. So Matthew Golden might be that dude. Now, we did have a graphic here since we're talking receiver a little bit. Let's try to remind ourselves who was good at what here. So Matthew Golden, there's one of the problems right there, right? I mean, you see all the red across the board, and you can see he played 80% of his snaps out wide, 20% in the slot. Let's see.
Dude.
Yards per game was only 55.3. Yards, I think it was yards per pass attempt. I believe it was 1.53, maybe. Or maybe target. I need to figure out. Hey, Jake, you're in here, I'm sure. You see that YPTPA. You have any clue what that means, man? If you would, look for Jake to answer that question. Anybody in the chat that knows, I've been trying to figure that out this whole time, because when they pulled this graphic at Football Insights, I haven't had a chance to ask those guys, hey, what exactly is that? But he's in the red there. His passer rating when targeted, 120.7. That's solid, right? First down targets, 0.48, but then his yards per route ran was only 1.85. So, if you remove all the names, and that's how I like to look at this stuff, remove the names off the column, and you look at, okay, who are the players that stick out the most? He's not in the top 5 according to those spots right there. However, that's where the experts have him. So
there's your answer here.
Per team pass attempt. Okay. So overall team pass attempt kind of shows the impact he had overall as opposed to just when the ball's thrown. Got it. Thank you for that, Jake. Appreciate you, buddy.
You know what pops out when I look at that list, man? Trey Harris.
Big time. Same here,
dude,
man.
He ran a 4.5, I believe. So he, but we scoff at a 4.5 nowadays, where it's like, the guy's, what is he, 6'5", freaking, or no, he's another big guy, isn't he? Trey Harris,
6'3" or 6'4". Check that for me real quick, yeah, because he's a hoss, man. And Trey Harris, obviously, 88% of his snaps were outside. Definitely more of an X or a Z.
6'3", 210. Gosh, man, I love this dude, man. 2022, 77.8, 23, 88.5. This last year, an 89.7 as the 6th overall wide receiver. Oof.
Yeah. And think about that. 6th overall wide receiver, according to PFF. And then their initial PFF big board had him 86th. And they'll tell you it's because it's bad coaching and misused.
Yeah.
Wait, you graded him good. What are you talking about, knuckleheads? So, yeah, the thing that brings him down is the PFF big board. If you were to remove that, he's sitting currently in the 51 spot for us. If you remove the PFF big board, he's probably going to climb into the 40s. So he's one of those guys that, like, if Goody's at a much higher grade than everyone else does on him, and they have not met with him, by the way, then maybe he's worthy of the 23rd pick. For me, it would be closer to that second round if he drops there. This might be Green Bay's next great second-round wide receiver. That's where they've really cashed in.
Yeah.
Get paid dirt.
What do you think about Deontay Thornton Jr.? You're a Tennessee guy.
He's a big boy too, is he? How tall is he?
I thought that he was one of those 6'4", 6'5" guys. He ran a 4.3 flat.
Yeah. Deontay Thornton, if you look at him, he's at the very bottom of this chart here. 73% of his snaps out wide, 27% slot. Yards per game, only 33.9. Yards per team pass attempt, only 1.10. His passer rating when targeted, though, man, 129.5. He maximizes opportunities, 0.46 on first down target. And then yards per route ran was 2.80. How tall is he, Jacob?
He's 6'5". They got him at 6'5", 215.
And he ran a 4.3. Is that what you said?
He ran a 4.3 flat. Yeah.
Damn. That's with a Y. DAYUM.
Damn.
That's crazy.
A lot of people in the chat in the last couple of days were talking about, I don't know how to say his name, Tremere Dyke from Florida. He ran a 4.34. That had to help him. Jalen Lane from Virginia Tech ran a 4.34. Ty Felton, 4.37. And I mean, like Isaiah Bond, 4.39. Jalen Knoll, the other guy from Iowa State, 4.39. I mean, man, these guys are some burners. I really love Torrey Horton from Colorado State. He definitely helped his stock. He ran a 4.41.
Yeah. And Dante Thornton, we've got him really low. He's in the 269 spot. And it's mainly because the PFF grades, right? Year 1 and year 2. And then, of course, the PFF big board had him in the 220 spot. The consensus big board had him at 306. Now, he got the maximum combine bonus or next to maximum. But Dane Brugler, 33rd team, and Daniel Jeremiah have no information on him yet, which suggests Kyle Krabs thinks he's outside of his top 125. So when I see him down that low, I go, man, that's crazy low, but we'll see. Once Daniel Jeremiah puts his top 150 out, that'll let us know how much he may think about him or may not think about him. And then, of course, same thing with Dane Brugler when we get his total list as well. So,
yeah. Just a quick other note. Somebody was asking about Pat Bryant from Illinois. He didn't help himself probably too well. He's ran a 4.61, as well as another guy that we liked was Ricky White III. He ran a 4.61 as well.
Yeah. We got Pat Bryant in the 124 spot. So here's the thing about our board as well. And I really like this because every other board goes in the opposite direction. So other boards would see that and go, oh, we're dropping him way down, right? Our board, he will not get penalized for that. He just gets a 0, right? Or, if his RAS ends up being less than a 7, he'll get a 0. And we'll have that as a reminder, like, okay, boys, he didn't test well. That's something worth noting, but it's not going to – you cannot be penalized on our board for bad combine, bad pro day, but you can be bonused for, if that makes sense. So I try to build our board outside of the box just a touch, so it's not lining up with everybody else's information. I want it to kind of be something that's just a different angle of thinking, if that makes sense. All right, let's get into a player that visited with the Packers here, and I thought this was interesting, as obviously it's looking more and more like Josh Myers probably won't be back with the team. We'll find out soon enough once he tests the market. But here's a center they're looking at. Georgia center Jared Wilson. The Packers formally met with him. That was according to at What Going Downey, whoever that is. But Easton Butler sharing that information. We appreciate that. Jared Wilson's a guy we talked about from time to time. We have Jared Wilson in the 99 spot. So this could be kind of maybe a third-round pick at center if he's sitting there, according to our board. And again, when it comes to PFF, he was the 64th highest-graded center in 23. He jumped all the way to 11th last year. PFF Big Board had him at 103. Consensus Big Board had him at 143. Dane Brugler had him at 83. So I feel like we're right there in that sweet spot. So third-round pick, it might be somebody like this, and the fact that the Packers met with him, it shows that he's kind of on their radar. I'm going to sort our centers. What do you think of Jared Wilson? You got anything on him there, Jacob?
Yeah, it's not that I don't like him or anything like that. I just, for where you would have to take him in the draft, I just don't quite think he's up to snuff. Like you said, PFF has him the number 1 ranked center, but they also have guys that are still there, like Seth McLaughlin, another, sizable guy from Ohio State. Jonah Moynham, you guys know I love him, 6'5", 310 out of USC, a guy that has actually gotten worse with each year that he's played in the league or played in college. Went from an 81.9 to a 75.9 to a 79, 70.9, I should say. I like a guy named Drew Kendall out of Boston College as well. So I just feel like that there's better options. I just, if we were to take him in the first round or the second round or even in the third, I wouldn't be excited about that. I don't think he's projected that high, but I would say maybe even I wouldn't want him in the second. I wouldn't want him in the third. If he somehow fell to the fourth, I'd be totally cool with it. Or late third, I guess. But yeah.
And in terms of the centers that the Packers have met with, and you guys let me know in the chat if you disagree, whether you think they're a center or not. Jared Wilson is the top center that the Packers, according to our board, have met with out of Georgia. Next is right behind him, Jacob Bayer out of Arkansas State. We've got him with an 88 grade. Obviously, low number of wins there. Don't take that the wrong way. The next center that the Packers have met with, according to our board, would be, and I've been trying to differentiate between just interior offensive linemen and centers. That's it. So that's all we got. So just 2 centers is all the Packers met with so far.
Chris was wondering, have they met with Gray Zabel? Because that's another one of those players that, I remember certain scouts said that he could play any. I think wasn't it kind of like, remember when Zach Tom, where they said like, he's a Hall of Fame center. He's an all-pro guard. He's a, Pro Bowl left tackle or whatever we want to say. I think Gray Zabel could possibly be a type of player like that.
It feels like if there's anybody in this draft that fits that mold, that's the dude, is Gray Zabel. Where do we have Gray? Let me try to find him real quick. Because
that'd be a fun kind of exercise to try to guess like who is going to be because dude, think about it. Zach Tom, nobody had him. I remember Ryan Late started talking about him. And Ryan the only person and he was beating that drum, dude. And I was like, man, I don't know. Zach, I just don't get it. And sure enough, man, I mean, Zach Tom has been unbelievable. To that fact, dude, honestly, Rasheed Walker wasn't he a 7th? I mean, we just know it seems like whatever we're doing when we draft offensive linemen, it's just we got something good we're cooking up back there. Knock on wood. It's not jinx.
Yeah, so we've got Gray Zabel in the 52 spot currently, and I've got him listed as offensive tackle, but with a V, meaning, and this isn't my take, guys. This isn't my opinion. Hey, he can play anywhere. These are everybody at the Senior Bowl. It sounded like it was like this dude's best center in the draft, and that kind of caught me off guard. I ain't gonna lie, but I know Tim kind of rolls his eyes at the fact that all of a sudden Gray Zabel's a center, but it's kind of the same thing was felt about Zach Tom, like you were pointing out. But yeah, we've got him in the 52 spot. We have not met with him to the best of my knowledge here, Jacob. So I don't think we have met with him. Christian, appreciate the question. Drew D, I find it suspicious they didn't meet with the USC center. Who? Give me the name there.
That's Jonah Moynham.
Jonah Monheim. Let me see if I can find him real quick. And I apologize for chomping on this cough drop, but we got to do it, boys. We're locked up here.
While you're doing that, Drew D also said that Gray Zabel is the Graham Barton of this draft. That was a great name drop. I loved him the last draft.
Yeah, we did too. And I want to say he didn't pan out that well as rookie year. I could be wrong.
I don't think he did.
But again, you can't. One year you can't just write people off. But yeah, we got Jonah Monheim listed as a center/guard in the 126 spot. And yeah, obviously the Packers haven't met with him either.
I'd be fine if they took him in the 4th or the 5th, man. That'd be awesome.
And
get another 6'5".
I may be reading into your comment wrong. Let me know if I am. But when you say I find it suspicious they didn't meet with him, you can take that one of two ways. Like suspicious, like, oh crap, are we bringing back Josh Myers? The fact that they ain't meeting with one of the top centers,
right?
Or do you take it as they really like him? They don't want people to know that they're on him. You know what I mean? It could be that too. So really interesting to see some of the smoke signals that are sent this time of year as well. Let's see what else we got in here. I think we're good, right? We're all caught up.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that PFF only has, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the top 300, in the top 350 or whatever. What do you think about Gus Hartwig from Purdue? Another guy that's 6'5", 305. He's graded consistently his whole career, right around a 70, 71.9, 69.1, 71 flat. Flashy, nothing special, but
we got him in the 207 spot currently. Okay. That's where we got him at. You know what? We may have the wrong. We got it on there. Yeah, we got him in the 207 spot. I see what you're saying. 37th, 68th, 53rd. What's really bringing him down on our board, Jacob, is we have nothing from Dane Brugler, 33rd team, or Daniel Jeremiah, but the PFF big board had him at 281, and the consensus big board had him at 289. So that's why he ended up where he's at right now on our board. All right, moving along. We already hit that, the Deebo Samuel stuff. Let's talk wide receiver a little bit more. We'll kind of come back to that if that's all right with you guys. We got the 40-yard dash this year. Matthew Golden leads the way in the 40-yard dash with a 4.29. That's what you were saying. So that's how stupid I am. I actually put a tweet out about it, and I couldn't even remember it. So 4.29 was the official time. Then you got Shamir Dyke, I think is how you say his first name, 4.34. Ty Felton, 4.37. Isaiah Bond, 4.39. So who was it you said ran that? Was it Trey Harris you said ran that 40?
No, so I got a more updated because I think they actually updated it in the last few minutes here. It's Matthew Golden, 4.29. Deontay Thornton Jr. was the 4.3 flat. Shamir Dyke is 4.34. Jalen Lane from Virginia Tech was a 4.34. Arian Smith from Georgia, 4.36. Ty Felton was a 4.37, as well as Keandre Lambert Smith, as well as Jordan Watkins. Isaiah Bond was a 4.39, Jalen Knoll 4.39, and then Dominic Lovett at 4.4.
Gotcha. So Jarrell Lee says Trey Harris ran a 4.54. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So who was it you said ran a 4.3 earlier? Big boy.
Deontay Thornton Jr.
Deontay Thornton. Sorry. Got it. I'm so bad with names, man. All right. So there is a little update on the 40-yard dash. Now let's go to the running backs. Do you have an updated version of this, or is this what you're showing too for the running backs, you think?
Let's take a look here.
I'll read these off real quick. And I'm sure I'll screw this name up. Bashul Tutin with a 4.32. Jaden Blue with a 4.38. Brashard Smith with a 4.39. RJ Harvey with a 4.40. Montrell Johnson Jr. 4.41. Trevor Etienne 4.42. DJ Giddens 4.43. Travion Henderson 4.43. Jarquez Hunter 4.44. And then Donovan Edwards with 4.44. People are going, where's Ashton Gianti? That dude ain't touching the football field till he is. Yeah. I don't blame him one damn bit. So did all that match up with anything you've seen here recently?
Yep, that was 100%. That must have been done early. By the way, there's a guy, I've never heard of him either. His name's Ulysses Bentley IV. And I think that man deserves a spot on any roster just for the name.
I come from a place back home where people are just named Carl Green. You know what I mean? Jeff Smith. I see these names and I'm like, man, it's wild. We've come a long way. People are going, your name's Clayton. Yeah, I know. The black white supremacist, Dave Chappelle. You ever seen that? They got Clayton Bigsby. And prepare to be offended, okay? I'm just gonna say that.
That was the first skit he ever did, and the Comedy Central was like, are you serious?
Oh no. We're either gonna be rich or we're getting canceled. One of the two. They got rich off of it.
Yes, they did.
All right, let's see here. Last thing, offensive tackle Josh Simmons. Just wanted to put this out here because I know he's a highly touted offensive lineman in this draft. I wouldn't rule out the Packers taking an offensive lineman at 23. I really wouldn't. Again, you don't believe me. You don't think it's important. Do yourself a favor. Get you some popcorn and a daddy soda. Sit down tonight and rewatch that Eagles game, and then convince yourself you don't need a little bit more depth on that offensive line. Yeah. But Ohio State offensive tackle Josh Simmons says he's ahead of schedule in his rehab from a torn patellar tendon and will probably be cleared for a mid-April pro day. So hopefully for him, he can get cleared and get out there in a pro day right before the draft and kind of solidify his draft stock. I'm trying to remember where I've got him at. I may have to up here he is. We got him in the 20 spot, Jake. Now, 2024, it's lit up red, letting us know, hey, there's an injury there. Matter of fact, I'll go ahead and drop this down since we're caught up, and we'll put our board on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about here, guys. We got this puppy updated, and it's pretty sweet. So if we zoom in here, let me get rid of this real quick. I apologize. We got more windows open than a trailer park over here. Let me see. Don't save. Don't save. I'll probably regret that later, but still don't save. All right. So you'll see our boy. Where did he go? Josh Simmons right here. Okay. He's in the 20 spot. 562nd in 2022, 178th in 2023. In 2024, he was 92nd, but that red box right there is just signaling, hey, he got hurt this year. Look into the injury. Okay. PFF Big Board had him at 11. Census Big Board had him 19. Daniel Jeremiah had him 30th. Kyle Krabs had him 8th. Dane Brugler had him 17th. So his grade comes out to a 23.9, which makes him the 21st or 20th graded player on our board. If he's sitting there at 23 and he's the best player available, he's in the green, run the card up. Let's bolster that offensive line a little bit more, So we know the Packers love taking tackles and kicking them inside too. Somebody asked earlier, who is the Jordan Morgan of this year's draft? And I'm going to take that question. I think it was Coach Lynn that asked that, I believe. I'm going to take that question as like who kind of falls in that range that maybe we're not thinking about at offensive line. Probably someone like a Josh Connerly, because Jordan Morgan was just one tier below our current tier of talent when Goody took him. And then when you looked into everything, it was like, okay, this does make a lot of sense. He kind of meets the measurables, team captain, all those things, right? It really kind of stood out. But for me, it'd probably be like a Josh Connerly out of Oregon.
What about Armin guy from Missouri?
Armin Mimbo is pretty high on our board, I believe.
Is he actually? Oh, wow.
We got him 11th, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's a stud, man. I really do. And in terms of the experts, Daniel Jeremiah's got him 17th. Dane Brugler's got him 8th. So that's going to pop him right there in between on ours. But, yeah, to answer that question, I think Josh Connerly kind of sticks out to me in that range where we found Jordan Morgan. And if you were to reach a little bit more, you maybe go with like Ariante Ursary, but that's pretty far down. I want to say Jordan Morgan was like 31 or 32 on our board last year. And we took him, what was it we picked? I can't even remember now. 25th, maybe something like that, 27th. Anyway, so, yeah, there you go. There's what's cooking on the board, though. And, again, you see the cheese emojis here. That's just signaling. And this is sorted by grade, so I can zoom in a touch for y'all so you can see it a little bit better. We got these emojis in here. You see the wrestling emoji that's showing Mason Graham has a wrestling background. James Pierce Jr.'s got the cheese emoji. That means the Packers met with him. Armand Mimbo, you just mentioned, wrestling background.
Oh, all right.
So, yeah.
Man, Emilio was in his bag this year, man.
We got all kinds of cool stuff we're going to put up there. We need to do something, too. If somebody gets in trouble or something, we need to do like a handcuff emoji or something. You know what I mean? Get really creative with it.
Where do you have Wyatt Millum from West Virginia?
Wyatt Millum. Let's see here.
I really like that guy. I don't know if he's one of those that you kick inside, but his grades absolutely exactly what I want when I look at a player. 2022, 74.8. 2023, 80.1. This last year, a 91 flat. He's the third best ranked tackle with 706 snaps. He's 6'6", 317.
Yeah, we've got him in the 56 spot. Okay. And the main thing that's bringing him down is the 33rd team ended up having him 85th. So that really pulled him down quite a bit on our board.
DJ and Dane didn't mention him?
They did not, but DJ was just top 50. Okay. And Dane Brugler was What was Dane Brugler? Top 100, I think.
Okay.
If I remember. No, he might have been just top 52. Can't remember. No, definitely top 100. You see, we got 80s and 70s here. So, yeah. Once he gets his finalized, and here's the thing. Somebody like Wyatt Malum, when he does his final top 150 or whatever he does, I think he does the entire board ranked. If Wyatt Malum all of a sudden pops in at 73 on Dane Brugler's, that's the number we're putting in. We're putting in the earliest information we have for each player. That makes sense. Now, if he puts out one and he's 73 and then he puts out a later one, he drops down to 82, we're going to keep the 73. You know what I mean? The earliest version. So that's kind of how that's going to go.
There's Charles Grant there at 64. We got 64 or 65.
Yep. Out of Williams.
Another one. Oof.
Yeah. And the thing that's bringing him down is Kyle Krabs had him at 80, but Daniel Jeremiah had him at 49. That and the consensus big board having him at 104 early is what's keeping him down on our board. If you remove the consensus big board and you remove the 33rd team, he's probably a top 30 pick. So that's what's pulling him down for us. So, all right. Good deal, man. Anything else you want to see here on the board? Any other prospects before we move along?
No, I'm pretty good for now. Yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead now and jump over to the Patreon group. We had a question. I think if you guys want to join the Patreon group, just go to patreon.com/PackerFan Total Access, or you can scan the QR code in the upper right. If you're a member of one of the 3 tiers, it gets you entered into the giveaways. And obviously you can get your questions read on the air, that type of thing. Harry Cheese said 5-round mock draft that I did with PFF. I'd be happy if it fell this way, is what he said. 23, Kenneth Grant. You guys know I'm a pretty big fan of Kenneth Grant. We've got him currently in the 16 spot. You take him at 23, Jacob, run the card up. No problem there.
Yeah.
And then let's see who he's got second here. Is that Darian Porter?
Yep. He's grown. I'm starting to like him a lot more. I think he ran well. Looks like he's a strong guy. He graded out pretty well.
He got our maximum. This is the first year we're doing a -6. And what that's signifying is he got a 10. So he got a 10, effing 10. We got to see. Some people are going, what are you talking about? Go watch Varsity Blues.
Billy Bob gonna puke.
Make sure the kids are in bed, then watch Varsity Blues. And if you want to know what Clayton's high school years were like, you're about to watch it.
Bro, real quick. My friend in 5th grade, Kevin Robb, when that movie came out, his dad was a cool dad. He took a group of 6 of us to go see Varsity Blues. And within the first 10 minutes, and he sat in front of us and let us all geek and have fun. He turned around, remember, in the first 10 minutes, and he goes, "None of you tell your parents I took you to the movie." Exactly. I was like, all right, dope.
And each one of you have served jail time at some point in your life, right?
Absolutely.
That works. so yeah, Darian Porter, we got in the 73 spot. So he took him at 54. Now, if I were to play devil's advocate here and go, okay, let's try to make him worth the 54th pick. 33rd team agrees he's 46th on their board. Okay. The PFF big board had him at 41. But the big thing that pulled him down for us is Dane Brugler had him at 99. The consensus big board had him at 91. So he's an outside corner is what I've got him listed at. Doesn't mean he can't play slot, but it sounds like predominantly he did play outside corner there. So trying to get that's how I'm marking them with the hearts here so I don't lose my place. All right, Chris in with I think a question or a comment here. Say, Clayton, unless he gets what he wants or more for Jair, I don't understand why Goot doesn't wait until June 1 and give himself more cap space. I know most deals are done before June 1st, but a 6th-round pick doesn't matter much whether it's this year or next year for the Pack. Am I missing the boat here? Not at all, man. I think that makes a lot of sense. Me and Tim were talking about this the other day. Matter of fact, Jacob, we were having a conversation. We're like, maybe it does make sense to wait till the draft. And that, imagine a team that needs a corner. And they're looking at it going, Jair's out there. We could go get him, but what are the Packers wanting for him? Let's see how the draft falls. If they don't get their guy in the draft, on draft night, if their top 3 corners go off the board early, then they may reach out to Green Bay on draft night and go, hey, what would you take? Would you take this 2nd-round pick or this 3rd-round pick for Ja or whatever it might be and try to kind of push that deal along that way? That could be the case. But I'm with Chris in here, man. There's no rush for Goody to do anything right now. He's under contract. You got plenty of cap space. And if you wait till after June 1st, you're actually going to free up more cap space, albeit you're not getting out of any of that guaranteed money, Chris. And I know you know this. You're just kind of kicking that second aspect of the cap hit down the road one year, right? So I think this makes all the sense in the world. Jacob, what's your take?
Yeah, I mean, just like you said, why make a snap decision when you don't know how the full picture is forming? If we have the ability to go through the draft, figure out, who knows what happens in that draft if we end up getting a couple steals at the cornerback position, or if something falls, or vice versa. If it doesn't work and we absolutely get skunked at the position, then I definitely think that changes the negotiation tactics for sure for Goot. And I mean, it's kind of it feels more like Goody he's holding the cards and he's not panicking. He's got remember the Moneymaker guy from the ESPN poker challenge or whatever, Chris Moneymaker, he's just sitting there, man. He's got his shades on. He doesn't care. He's not sweating.
Not at all, man. Not at all. Too old for this in the chat. I only know Varsity Blues because they watched it 20-minute sections at Dunder Mifflin.
Hey, Jan, hope you brought your milk duds. They work faster afterwards. How do you know that? Because they have to, because of the time we missed because of the movie.
Oh, such a good show, man. The fact that they chose Varsity Blues as like, this will help The Office. Let's watch this.
But the part that they highlighted was when John Voight's, let's go, come on, Billy Bob. And they're all like, their jaws are dropped. Like,
if you get that needle anywhere near his knee, I'll break your arm. I'll beat you to death with. My favorite Billy Bob line, though, other than "it's a 10," is
some dinosaurs.
Yeah, I like it when he said, "I left y'all a hot dog down there," and he ran back into the party. Oh man, it's good stuff. All right, that's your Patreon questions of the day. Let me just take a quick glance and make sure I'm not missing anything in any other chats here. We got the questions. We're all caught up. Appreciate everybody in the Patreon. Seriously, guys, y'all supporting the show. It allows us to keep this thing going, and we appreciate it more than you know. All right, Jacob, is there anything else you want to hit on before we get ready to wrap up? I know we got a giveaway to do here real quick.
Yeah, we got to throw the pinky wheel down. Honestly, no. I'm excited to see tomorrow. I believe, is that where the O-linemen are going to be doing some drills and stuff like that?
Oh, yeah,
do you have that?
Quick, yeah. Let's see here. So obviously today was Saturday, right? So today we wrapped up the DBs and the tight ends, so we should have the fullest of the RASs that we could have. We're going to have tomorrow on the DBs and the tight ends. Now tomorrow, in terms of workouts, you're going to get running back, quarterback, and wideouts doing the bench press, and they're going to depart. So we'll be closing in on final RASs for those guys. And the offensive line tomorrow will be on field for the workout. Now, the bench press won't be till Monday, and then they'll depart. But, yeah, tomorrow we should get in some 40-yard dashes, some shuttles, all that good stuff, kind of some of the footwork drills. And then the bench press is big for me too, man. It really is. Like I've kind of got a threshold that I like with bench press, like 30 reps and up is kind of my spot, unless somebody's just a freaking physical freak and a technician. I can deal with a 27 rep if that dude just has the best footwork in the draft, But yeah, offensive line will be doing a lot of stuff tomorrow, in the running backs and quarterbacks, wideouts will be wrapping up. So I'm eager to see some of those big wide receivers we talked about and how many bench reps they get in with 225.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, man, we should be good. We got ads rolling over here on the Pinky Wheel of Fame. I don't know how to get those off, so we'll let that clear here real quick. We don't want to give any free advertising, unless, of course, it is free gels, vitamin C drops.
Look at that. Sponsor the show.
Yeah, go to your local pharmacy. All right, get you those.
They're already calling it. It's already rigged. 12 this is already rigged. Fred says the show sucks. Giveaway's rigged. AFM Turtle waxes his mustache.
That's money right there. All right, so here's the Larry McCarron Pinky Wheel. All right. To prove that it's not rigged, I need somebody, first person in the chat, give me a number between 1 and 10. A number between 1 and 10. Hurry.
50.
Got to go quick. Exactly. 4. Respect Oranges says 4.
Oranges got 4.
Quick. Respect Oranges. Everybody else said 6. We're going to go in the middle so it's not rigged. We're going to go 5.
Ooh.
So we're going to shuffle this thing 5 times. You see my cursor here. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. We're going to spin it 3 times. First person that lands on, that is the winner. Second person that lands on will be the backup winner. If that dude is in jail or something, then we'll give it to the second place winner. If that dude had to leave the country because he's related to Emilio or something, we'll give it to the third. So that's how it's going to work. Here we go. Let's spin this thing. Let's zoom in so we can get a little bit of dramatic effect here too.
Big money, no whammy, no whammy.
This is for the autographed LVN jersey. The winner of that piece of memorabilia, he's the first place winner, is.
There we go. No way, Pack Daddy. What a guy.
That would be hilarious. Jordan Taylor. All right. Jordan Taylor is the first place winner. So, Jordan Taylor, if you're watching, shoot me a text, 865-658-5824, or an email, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. All right. Yeah, that's true, Brett. Half the members probably are in jail. So, again, Jordan is the winner, the first place winner. So
I don't think I've seen him in the chat.
I haven't either.
All right,
so
let's go.
Again, second place winner. If Jordan is in jail and he doesn't come forward in the next week or so, then we're going to give the autographed LVN jersey to.
Oh, no.
Look at this.
Harry Cheese.
I know he's in here. He's always in here, man. It seems like. Or at least he's in the Patreon group a lot. So, big contributor to the show, no doubt about it. And then if Harry Cheese, for some reason, had to leave the country, we'll give the LVN jersey to.
Oh, no way. Murph.
It's the second time Murph's won.
Cheesehead Murph. I haven't seen him in a minute.
Oh, man. People are going, if somebody already won, are they allowed to win again? Absolutely, man. They're continuing to contribute to the show. They should be on the wheel. So, again.
Hey, look, we got Harry Cheese in the house.
There you go. He said, oh, hell, I'm right here. All right, Harry Cheese. Jordan Taylor was the first place winner. So let's give him some time to come forward. If we don't hear from Jordan Taylor, then you'll get the jersey, man. I know it's kind of dangling it, and I hate it that people, man, I hope he doesn't come forward. But we used to do these giveaways, and the first place winner never came forward. And they're just supporting the show and probably don't watch half the time anyway. I don't blame them. I don't even want to be here, but I have to. But they wouldn't come forward, and we just had to spin it again and again. So that's why we're doing that. So we'll wait for Jordan T. If Jordan T doesn't come forward, it's your jersey there, Harry Cheese. Anything else, Jacob? My throat hurts, man. I'm ready to get out of here.
No, we're good, man. That was we're good. I think we should just end it right here.
Keep that to yourself, there, man. That could have went really bad there, really bad. Chris N says LVN has nice sisters. All right, that's a little behind baseball, right? Yeah. Daryl said, Clayton, you don't want to be here, leave. Get going. All right, I appreciate it, man. Everybody have a great night. Thank you all for tuning in. Hit that like button on the way out. Like I said, if you're on Twitter, hop over to YouTube and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead, Jacob.
We got a morning show going on tomorrow?
I think we do, Jacob. I think we do.
All right, then.
So we'll see y'all 8:30 a.m. Central Time tomorrow morning. Fred McFarley says, rest up, Clayton. Thanks, Emilio's burner. There you go. All right. Thank you, Bates. You're always in there, man. Everybody's supporting you. You guys are awesome, man. Seriously, I don't say it enough. I know maybe some people get tired of hearing it, but y'all are the lifeblood of what we do here. And it's just an absolute blast talking Packers with you guys. So everybody have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning. See you.
There we go.
Bye, guys.